So you just received a letter from the city saying your rental license inspection is right around the corner. Don't panic. I'm Maria. I'm a property manager in the Twin Cities with Cobalt Property Management, and I've developed what I think is the best and most efficient system for surviving your rental inspection. I've divided everything into 10 easy steps, and they work whether you're a professional property manager like me or a do-it-yourself landlord. Number 1. Read instructions carefully. You want to look for attachments, and you want to make sure that you understand all requirements for the inspection for the city that you're in. Some cities require permission to enter an apartment. If that's the case, email your tenant with their address and their name in the subject line and ask them to respond with, "Yes, you have my permission to enter." Also, some cities require safety inspections for heating systems, and you want to make sure you see the form that's attached and that that's completed by your inspection day. Number 2, notify all tenants in writing for the inspection. The state of Minnesota that I manage property in requires 24-hour notice. I send an email and a text message. In the email, I'm a little more specific. I say things like, check your smoke detector batteries, make sure pets are crated or out of the home during the inspection, and I also remind them that the inspection cannot be rescheduled. Then I send them a text message, also including the date and time window of the inspection, and I refer them back to the email so they can see the rest of the information. Number 3, fight the urge to fix everything ahead of time. This seems counterintuitive because you want to save time, but honestly, first of all, you should be doing inspections at least annually of any of your rental units, so you should have a pretty good idea of the condition of the home already. Number 2, inspectors usually find something, so you're going to have to go back to do the work anyway, so you might as well wait to get a comprehensive list and then schedule the work so you're not in your tenant's way and you're not wasting your own time. That being said, remember what defines a legal bedroom: size, egress, ceiling height. Oftentimes, tenant will use spaces as sleeping spaces when fire code clearly violates them as sleeping spaces. So their furniture placement can actually be a citation against you. You can and should communicate with your tenants whether or not they need to move furniture from a space and remind them that it's absolutely not safe for them to sleep in there. I also save this communication in writing so I can show an inspector to prove to them that I did communicate that the space should not be used for sleeping. Number 4, prep before your inspection. Bring a clipboard. Super important. What I do is I bring a rent roll with me on a clipboard that shows the unit number with the tenant's name. And there's 2 reasons for this. Number 1, I can show the inspector the name and the unit number if we were required to ask permission. Then, if there's any question, I can pull it up on my phone that I have with me and show them that I did indeed get permission to enter the unit. Number 2, it's also really wonderful to notify the resident by name when I'm coming into the unit. It reminds me who I communicated with, and then I let them know that I know who they are and who I'm with. For example, on the door, "Joe, it's Maria. I'm here with the city inspector. We're going to be entering your unit." All right, number 5, and probably the most important point out of all of these, conduct your own inspection while the inspector is going through the home. This is where property manager software really comes in handy. So if you have something like Yardi, AppFolio, Rent Manager, these usually have an inspection template built into the system. So you can open up the template on your phone in the app, and you can go through and conduct an inspection at the same time the inspector is. If you don't have inspection software, that's totally fine. You can still take photos and take notes as you're walking through behind the inspector. They'll have their clipboard, and you'll be able to tell when they're going to cite something. I immediately ask what they're citing for. So for example, say the polarity on a GFCI outlet isn't testing correctly. They have those little indicator testers. So I can see that the little light turned on that's indicating that there's a faulty ground. So what I do, I ask the inspector, "What are you citing me for?" Faulty ground. Type it into my inspection. Then take a photo. You want to make sure that you're zoomed in enough where you can see what's wrong, so the indicator light that on the polarity tester, and zoomed out enough that you can tell the location of the outlet or whatever else they're citing you for. So I can see then that it's in, say, the kitchen. I've also been known to ask an inspector to point in a photo. So if it's a little confusing, say high looping a dishwasher line, which I may not understand at the time, I ask them to point specifically what they're talking about so I can see that the drain isn't connected properly. I have a photo and then I type in my notes. Really easy moving forward. Number 6, ask for clarification. Again, 2 reasons for this. Number 1, not all solutions there's not just one solution for every problem. Again, the point of this inspection is to create safe and habitable housing for your tenants. For instance, if there's an electrical meter that's higher off the ground than the standard 4 to 6 feet that building code asks for, the inspector may say that you need to hire a licensed contractor, an electrician, to move the meters. That will require pulling a permit, getting the electrical inspector involved, everything like that. Well, the National Electric Code actually states that the meters just have to be safely accessible. So a workaround could be hiring a contractor to build a safe and permanent platform, say with stairs that's constructed and attached to the home. That still works. You want to be able to communicate this to the inspector, and they may need to go check and make sure that it works. Make sure you do this in writing. So you have all communication regarding the workaround in writing. So if there's any future inspections or communication, you have record that you did make sure that this was approved before you continued with work. The second reason that this is really important is you don't ever want to do any work that actually required a professional. So again, if you're going to jump in and try to replace the ground fault outlet, that might require an electrician in the city that your rental property is in. So you want to ask very specifically, is this going to require a licensed electrician, and will they have to pull a permit? If the answer is yes, remember that the contractor you hire, so say an electrician, they're going to work with the electrical inspector. So they will have to pull a permit, they will have to do the work, and then the electrical inspector is going to come back and approve the work. They'll have a report, and oftentimes you can find it online if you don't get a copy of it. It's your job to get the report to the city inspector, not the electrician's job. So remember to follow up on any permit work needed. All right, number 7, after you're done with the inspection, so immediately after, go home, go back to your office, edit your report, go through every single item. Those inspections, they go fast. The inspectors have to get through a lot of units within the day, and they have to get your report completed. So you want to go back to your office and you want to make sure that you're adding in any comments that you remember that the inspector may have said, anything that the tenant said regarding entry. All of those notes should be put in your report ahead of time. If you wait too long, you're going to forget, and you're going to have to ask for clarification, and it could delay the process. All right, number 8, also very important, start the work immediately. Don't wait for the report from the inspector. I've oftentimes received reports from the city, even when they told me I was going to get it in a few days, it would come like 2 days before the reinspection date. You don't want to rely on the city to get you the work right away, or the report right away. It's good to make sure you're cross-referencing when you complete the work, but otherwise you have your own inspection in your phone. You can create a work order in property management software, usually directly from the inspection, and you can send it to your maintenance technicians or your licensed contractors. That being said, you can usually ask for an extension on a lot of the work that an inspector cites you on. So I've oftentimes had to request an extension for things like roofing repairs, if weather hasn't been cooperating, or if my electrician is super booked out and they know the property and I don't want to hire anybody else, I'll ask for an extension because of their schedule. As long as you're super specific and you do this in writing, I also CC the owner on this. So if the property owner wants to be involved, they can see the communication. Ask for it in writing. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't, depending on what's going on. But either way, you want to be as clear in communication as you possibly can be. Number 9, so when the inspection is complete, and remember the entire time, all the work that was being done, any re-inspection stuff that had to take place, anytime you needed to enter the unit, you were always notifying tenants 24 hours ahead of time. Even if your state doesn't require it, it's just kind of common courtesy. You want to go back through, you as the property manager or owner, and you want to take photos and videos of everything that was completed. My personal YouTube channel is full of 10-second clips of me or my maintenance technician pushing the button on a smoke detector and waiting for the alarm to sound so I can send it to an inspector. Even if they don't ask for it, I usually just send all the stuff anyway. So I send photos of all the work that was completed, and if it requires a video, so say a smoke detector that was replaced and is now functioning, I will send that video along with them to show that everything was completed. I've actually often had it happen where I was detailed enough where an inspector was able to close out the report without needing to actually come back and do a physical reinspection. Regardless, it's really good to have this stuff on file. And then step 10, save the communication in some sort of cloud-based software. So again, if you're using property management software, this is really helpful. You'll just have all of your inspections on one list and you can search it whenever you need to. Otherwise, any cloud-based software is fine. Microsoft has OneDrive, where you can just create a file and you can put all of the email PDFs, all the photos, and all of the videos in one location for future use. This has come in handy in the past for me because I'll do an inspection, get a workaround approved, I'll have communication regarding that workaround. 4 years later, we go to reinspect. I get a new inspector who's brand new, tells me that the workaround won't get approved. I can show that it was approved. And then oftentimes they can just check it off their list with, double checking with their supervisor that it works out just fine. So that's it. Congratulations. You survived your city rental inspection. Hopefully now you understand that they're not so intimidating, but they can be time consuming. This is where hiring a property manager is really, really helpful. If you're looking for one in the Twin Cities area, I'm Maria. I'm with Cobalt Property Management. Our website is www.cobaltmanagers.com, or you can reach me at maria@cobaltmanagers.com. Until next time.